Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the Newsfeed at 4. I'm Ryan Cottrell.
And I'm Lauren Harper. We've got a packed show for you today, including some local election results.
That's right. Texas voters went to the polls Tuesday to decide a series of propositions on issues ranging from taxation to property rights, education, and infrastructure development. They voted on about 14 propositions, so we start with arguably the most critical statewide amendment aimed at cutting your property taxes. As you can see right there, people overwhelmingly voted in favor of this, getting 83% of the vote. Proposition 4 allows the state to spend $18 billion on property tax cuts for homeowners and businesses. So you should be able to start seeing those savings in your 2023 tax bill.
Retired teachers also getting a landslide win on cost of living adjustments. It's first in about 20 years. Proposition 9 increases teacher pension payments for their retirement. In recent years, these payments have been unable to keep up with inflation, giving them a well-deserved break. 84% of voters voted in favor and 17% of voters voting against it. Moving on to the fast-growing Prosper County, which has the highest voter turnout of the election. As you can see, lines wrapped around City Hall to vote on some much-needed school district budget increases. Prosper ISD voted in favor for nearly $2.8 billion worth of school bond measures, most of it going to Prop A, which intends on building new schools and expanding and renovating existing campuses around Prosper ISD. 69% of voters in Prosper voting in favor, while 31% voting against it.
And sticking with Prosper ISD, if we skip over to Prop C, this is very interesting because it generated a lot of headlines leading up to this. More than $100 million going to stadium facility funding. This includes about $95 million to build a new district-wide stadium, the most expensive in Texas. These numbers are were close all night until the morning, where it rounded out to about 54% voting against the funding. And now, you know, Lauren, the most interesting thing about this was that most of these voters seem to be prioritizing things like performing arts centers.
Absolutely.
And like you had said, the general campus renovation. So they seem to be rejecting anything on the sports side of things.
Tarrant County College District includes 5 campuses, and TCC Connect, which is online, has been honoring and will continue to honor those who have served or are serving our country. Campus events have included Steady Warrior Yoga, applying for disabilities compensation, Toys for Tots kickoff, and just hours ago, the Veterans Luncheon and Marine Corps birthday celebration.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Today's been a culmination of a week-long celebration of veterans here at TCC. Today we will be celebrating the Marine Corps' birthday with a banquet, and over the past week we've had plenty of events to celebrate the veterans here on campus. As a veteran myself, it's been wonderful to see the representation for veterans throughout all of the campuses, and being able to sing the national anthem for today's ceremony is wonderful. Being able to get that opportunity to present myself amongst fellow veterans is always a blast. So having TCC give me that opportunity is well welcomed.
Still there, oh, say does that star-spangled.
Over the weekend, 7 people were injured in a shooting at a homecoming party at Prairie View A&M University. Here's a look at the aftermath, where witnesses told the Waller County Sheriff's Office that people scattered after shots broke out, leading to responding officers to find 4 women, 2 men, and 1 male juvenile suffering from gunshot wounds. None of the injuries were believed to be life-threatening, but investigators believe the shooting followed a verbal dispute involving several people. Police haven't made any arrests. While the party did have private security, the sheriff's office says security protocols were not properly followed.
A teenage girl is in critical condition after Arlington police officers found her with a gunshot wound at the Dottie Lynn Recreational Center. Officers responded yesterday to the scene, where they found the girl wounded in the pool area. Authorities believe a group of teens jumped the fence at the pool, which is closed for the season, and at some point while they were gathered there, the victim was shot. Detectives are in the process of speaking with other teens believed to have been at the pool during the time of the shooting. The story is developing.
Next, the popularity of AI is continuing to grow worldwide. While We'll tell you why this New Jersey family is advocating for government regulations.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry, I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Woo! Come on! Go, Diane! Yeah, keep it going! Yeah! Go, honey!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
All right, I'm in the house.
Okay, what do you see?
Nothing yet. Hold on. I think I just heard something. I'm heading upstairs.
Okay, I am almost there.
I'm in the bedroom.
Okay.
Oh, shit. It's not here.
What?
The gun's not here.
What do you mean? Where is it?
Cameron, are you in there? Open the door. Come on, Cameron.
Looking to update your travel bucket list? Well, you might already be in the right place. Check out National Geographic's cool list of places to travel. In the United States, the entire state of New York and, lo and behold, Texas made the cut. Specifically, National Geographic advises visiting New York City and also Lake Placid and Niagara Falls. Texas is recommended for having several great spots to catch next year's total solar eclipse. You may remember just 3 weeks ago when Texas was highlighted as prime real estate for viewing the Ring of Fire. I never saw it in person, but I saw pictures. It looked pretty great. About half of the 30 places on the list are in Europe, including the ruins of Pompeii and the mountains of Albania.
A Texas pizza shop owner who was stranded in Gaza is now safely in Egypt. Palestinian-American Hasham Kaoud and his brother went to Gaza to visit family, but they were unable to leave because of the war between Israel and Hamas. However, Kaoud's wife says Hasham was able to cross into Egypt Saturday and is now safely in Cairo. 2 of Hasham's brothers and another adult relative are still stranded in Gaza.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt traveled to Israel to meet with Israeli leaders and express their support for Israel amid the war with Hamas. They met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's president, and other Israeli officials in Jerusalem. They also visited displaced Israelis at a hotel in Jerusalem and victims of Hamas attacks at a hospital in Tel Aviv. Governor Abbott says he extended his Texas's complete and total support of Israel and its right to self-defense. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Israel and the Consulate General of Israel to the Southwest coordinated the trip.
The Supreme Court heard arguments Tuesday on a major case involving the Second Amendment and domestic violence. A man in Texas is challenging that federal law. Jen Sullivan gives us more.
Outside the Supreme Court Tuesday, advocates for domestic violence victims demanding protection from abusers. One woman sharing her personal story with the crowd.
The only person the gun was used on was me.
Inside the High Court, the justices hearing roughly 100 minutes of arguments on the Biden administration's appeal of a ruling striking down a federal law that bans people with protective orders against them from owning a gun.
Guns and domestic abuse are a deadly combination.
The challenge to the law was brought by Zaki Rahimi of Texas. He's currently in jail for other gun-related charges. But in 2020, a restraining order was issued against him following a violent altercation with his then-girlfriend. Because of that restraining order, he's banned from owning a gun.
It is possible that It would be unconstitutional to deny people the right to purchase a firearm from a licensed dealer.
Lawyers arguing in support of the law said a woman is 5 times more likely to die from a domestic abuse situation if a gun is involved. In 1994, Congress passed a measure to ensure domestic violence victims could be protected from their abusers under federal laws. Rahimi's lawyer says that violates his Second Amendment rights to bear arms.
Domestic violence was not even an issue, 2 centuries ago.
The future of the law now in the hands of the 9 justices. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Some New Jersey high school students are accused of sharing AI-generated nude photos of their classmates. Tim McNicholas spoke with one parent who plans to advocate with her teen daughter for laws to protect people from these so-called deep fakes.
So this is our science room and our library.
As the owner of this Jersey City daycare, Dorotamani was already worried about the impact artificial intelligence could have on kids.
AI problem. I would call it AI pandemic at this point.
She says she's even more worried now that her daughter, a Westfield High School student, has become a victim.
My daughter texted me, "Mom, and naked pictures of me are being distributed." That's it. Heading to the principal's office.
Parents later got an email from the principal reading in part, "Students brought to our attention that some of our students had used artificial intelligence to create pornographic images from original photos, the kind of altered pictures known online as deepfakes."
She started crying, and then she was walking in the hallways, and she's seen other girls of Westfield High School crying. Some of them victims, some of them just friends of the victims that just felt for them.
The principal's email went on to warn parents. New technologies have made it possible to falsify images, and students need to know the impact and dangers those actions can cause to others. The email also encouraged parents of victims to contact the Westfield police, and Mani says she did file a report. Police told CBS 2 they have no comment.
It's something that we will need to learn, our children will need to be aware of.
Congress is considering a bill introduced by Representative Joe Morelli of New York that would make it illegal to share non-consensual deepfake images online. Mani and her daughter plan to advocate for laws to protect people from deepfakes.
Her words, we don't want a tragedy, wait for a tragedy to happen. We should do something proactively.
As we take a live look outside the NewsFeed studios, can we expect the rain chances to stick around for the weekend? Jason Hawley has your weekly weather next.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know what? Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Hey, welcome back to the NewsFeed. Chances of rain today are high, 70%. And so if you're getting rain, it's going to stay like that throughout much of the day. If you haven't gotten rain yet, chances are there's a chance you're going to get some. For today's high, we peaked at 64, and currently it's 54 degrees right now. As we look around North Texas, 54 in Fort Worth, 55 in Dallas, 53 in Denton. Look out west towards Abilene, it's 49, so that cool front that's heading this way is already west. If you look out east towards Longview, 67, beautiful day out there. Looking at the hour by hour for the rest of the day, 53 for by 8 p.m. That rain's not going away. It's going to stick with us all night. By midnight, it's going to be 50 degrees outside. Going into tomorrow, 58 for your high. It's going to stay pretty chilly. Keep the jackets out and the long sleeves. Saturday, 63. It's going to warm up. Saturday is also Veterans Day, so if you see a veteran, shake their hand and thank you for their service. Sunday, Cowboys game. It's going to be 66. Nice day outside. Hopefully they win. You start your work week off great. Start the work week off outside. 64 degrees Monday and Tuesday. It's going to warm up. 66 Wednesday, 72 Thursday. Now by next Friday, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Friday, 78 for the high. Saturday, 73. And Sunday, 70 degrees. Victor and Ryan, fall is here and it's not going away.
Thank you, Jason. Hurricane Otis has devastated Acapulco, Mexico, leaving more than 40 people dead and devastating tourism in the area. Gabriela Frias is there.
This is the Chinameca neighborhood. It's only a 20-minute walk from Avenida Costera Miguel Alemán, the main avenue of Acapulco. Thousands of low-income families who rely on tourism live here. Despite being so close, residents told us that no local authorities has visited them 9 days after Hurricane Otis hit as a powerful Category 5 storm. The military have been here distributing boxes with basic items for families to cook and eat, as well as 8 bottles of water per person. But this neighborhood had no water 15 days before the storm hit. Electricity is still an issue. In the absence of security, looting takes place at nighttime. Many men, women, and children are sick since the storm. We found pregnant women, 1- to 2-month-old babies, adults who suffer from diabetes and desperately need their insulin. The families are concerned here for their future, and having tourism come back to Acapulco is critical to their livelihoods. Gabriela Frias, CNN, Acapulco, Guerrero, Mexico.
New maps from NOAA are showing areas of the country with the greatest chances of a snowy winter. Scientists say it's going to be a moderate to strong El Nino winter, the first one in several years. So for the southern U.S., the pattern typically means wetter and cooler weather, which in this case you can see the blue shading is what that indicates. And while the north becomes drier and warmer, which is indicated in the tan and browning, or the brown shading, sorry. It's important to note that these maps aren't actual snowfall forecasts. They simply just show where the snow is more or less likely to show up during El Nino winters. The former Southern California gang leader charged with killing rap icon Tupac Shakur will go on trial next summer. Tuesday, 60-year-old Dwayne K. Davis appeared for a hearing in a Clark County, Nevada courtroom where the judge scheduled the trial to start June 3rd. According to prosecutors, Davis will not face the death penalty if convicted, but he could be sentenced to life in prison. Davis is currently being held without bail and pleaded not guilty last Thursday. 2 special public defenders were appointed to represent him.
A growing number of Americans are cracking into their retirement fund to help pay bills. Bank of America says the number of its 401k plan participants pulling cash out has increased by 27% since the first quarter of this year. That's over 18,000 people, the highest level in the 5 quarters the bank has been tracking this data. The average withdrawal, just over $5,000, Americans are clearly still facing a cash crunch caused by high inflation and rising costs of living. And they're not only tapping into retirement funds, the same report also found that the share of households newly delinquent on credit cards is at the highest level in a dozen years. Today is National Fried Chicken Sandwich Day. It's believed the tasty holiday started in the 1930s, then in 2019. The fried chicken sandwich gained new popularity when Popeyes came out with its version. Since then, it seems that everyone has gotten into the action.
And most people like their fried chicken sandwich pure without any toppings, but you can add, whatever you want to it with like barbecue sauce, hot sauce, ranch dressing, honey mustard, or even cheese. And don't forget those pickles.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Need a ride? Yeah!
Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Beep, beep. Yeah!
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
A growing number of Americans are working multiple jobs. That's according to October's jobs report from the Labor Department. In today's Consumer Watch, Patrick Cornell has what experts say is behind the federal data and who is leading that trend.
Juggling multiple gigs. The latest jobs report from the Labor Department shows nearly 8.4 million people had multiple jobs in October. That's the highest number since the start of the pandemic. And women appear to be leading that trend. The federal data shows nearly 6% of women worked multiple jobs in October. That's compared to 4.7% of men.
Our cost of living has almost tripled since 2020.
Experts say people may be taking on additional jobs to offset high inflation, which has been easing but is still painfully high for some households. Nonprofits like the United Way say inflation is outpacing wage growth, and that's making it harder for them to help families.
Wages do not reflect how important they are to everyday living.
Remote work is also offering more flexibility and opportunities for workers to manage several jobs from home. And there's also fear that layoffs could have people looking for supplemental jobs, but one economist says layoffs are actually historically low right now.
Companies are reluctant to lose their workers, and they're willing to negotiate even higher salaries to keep them.
U.S. employers added only 150,000 jobs last month. That's the smallest gain since June, signaling the economy is slowing and signaling that the Federal Reserve's action to tame inflation may be working.
The question is, how quickly is it working? We're still far from the 2% target, but inflation has come down quite a bit.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Patrick Cornell reporting.
Your child's sleep habits may be genetic. New research for children's sleep disorders found kids genetically predisposed to insomnia had more sleep issues, such as difficulty falling asleep or frequently waking up during the night. It's the first study providing evidence that to being a poor sleeper can also be found early in life. Experts say it's important to establish good sleep hygiene from an early age. Parents, you are also encouraged to pay attention to their sleep patterns.
Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin is honoring the medical staff who saved his life earlier this year by simply giving back. Hamlin went into cardiac arrest in January after making a tackle against the Cincinnati Bengals. He announced on social media that he had dinner with the 10 medical staff members who saved his life, calling them his heroes. But he also announced that he is launching a scholarship program called Cincinnati Heroes Scholarship. The program will award 10 $1,000 scholarships to underserved students in the Cincinnati area. Hamlin says each scholarship will be named after one of the medical staff members.
Hidden away for hundreds of years, newly discovered letters offer a look at life from long ago. Patrick Cornell has that story in Take a Look at This.
A peek into the past. These letters, looted by the British from a French warship in 1758, still sealed in original red waxen ribbon, hiding in a box in the UK National Archives, finally opened 265 years later. Written by family members to men serving on the ship, researchers say the letters are about universal human experiences, detailing fears, anxiety, and hope during their time apart. Some love letters to husbands at sea, or in this case, a mother complaining her son wrote more to his fiancée than to her. Correspondence lost in time, finally found by researchers who say it's like finding a treasure box. How about a treasured teammate? Freshman Bryson Greenhouse is the team manager for the Aztec High School football team in New Mexico. He's also special needs. The team came together to give Bryson a moment to remember. During a recent game, with the plan in place and the opposing team on board, Bryson got his spot to shine. Wearing number 31 and slotting in at running back, taking the handoff and rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, touchdown, Bryson. A marvelous moment they won't forget.
It made my heart so warm that I was so happy. Words can't even describe the way that I feel or still feel.
That touchdown? Great idea. This leap? Not a good idea. How rude. Off. Dat doe done leaped and... Yup. The deer dented the side of the truck, which was for sale, by the way. The deer darts away, seemingly fine. No word yet on how the new nick affected the truck's resale value. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
You're watching the NewsFeed at 4. We'll be back after the break.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
All right, so life is meant to be seen in color, right?
Absolutely.
That's the general consensus. But when a group of 5th grade students at Glen Hope Elementary School in Colleyville found out their classmate Jaron Casillas is colorblind, they decided to take matters into their own hands.
Jaron's classmates collected their allowances and donations to buy Jaron special glasses, and not just one pair, but 2 for outdoors and indoors. Jaron says, quote, "It just makes me feel thankful because I didn't know they would do this for me. I know my friends are true for doing this for me," end quote.
You gotta love all these wholesome stories. It's really nice to see, especially kids at that young age coming together. But if you like that story, you'll definitely love this one. A hero in West Virginia was welcomed home during a high school football game, but this Navy sailor has more of a surprise for his younger sister. Danielle Burbank covered the heartfelt moment.
A sailor's welcome home.
Nick, thank you for your service.
Nicholas Hill is surprising his sister Lily.
I thought it was just someone who happened to have the same name, and I was like, huh, that's weird, but okay.
Hill is a petty officer 2nd class in the U.S. Navy and spent a year and a half stationed on the USS Pioneer off Japan.
There's not really words that can describe it. I don't really have the words for it.
His sister Lily Lear performs in Wahama's Color Guard. Her parents also joining the sidelines to watch the surprise, thanks to the help of the home team's principal.
Welcome home, buddy. Yeah, welcome home.
For us being rivals on the football field and this being a Buffalo home game, for them to do this for us is just amazing.
The family has a long list of those who have served, and to Lily, Nick is her hero.
He has always been a stable part in my life, and he's always been there for me no matter what. And I mean, I feel like everyone should have some semblance of an older brother.
In Buffalo, Daniel Burbank, Eyewitness News.
Such a heartfelt story.
So cute.
Thanks so much for joining us on the news feed. We'll see you right back here next Thursday at 4. Take it easy.